The young man from Fordell, who has been the navigator for his old man for a number of years, has been thrown the keys to the radioactive machine, and number 2 navigator in the world is now behind the wheel. His partner Hannah Berry from I can't pronounce the name of that town, but she's not far away from Wanganui. What's the name of that town there, Blake?
Oh, I don't know.
Oh, come on, mate. Pay Tour. So radioactive anyway. Shane Travers out on the track at the moment. Hannah Berry, the Shepherd, and the Scott 8 1/4. So normally we see the Group A's running an 8 1/2 inch. This one runs an 8 1/4 inch. So quite the smaller style jet unit, but it doesn't seem to be holding them back at all. The first 2 runs, the boat did not sound good at all. Obviously, this is an A and B driven boat with Shane Travers, the A driver, the old man Ross Travers, the B driver. So they run Shane first in each qualifying round, and then the old man towards the end of that field. So a great drive there for Shane with a 61.503, 1 minute 1 second and 503 sub-seconds. So good run there from the rookie driver. Greg Reardon now and Dawn Erb. The boat is Adrenaline. The pairing from Inglewood. Greg Reardon, a motorcycle mechanic. Dawn Erb, the checkout chick. These guys stepping up from a Group B into the Group A category this year. So certainly spending a little bit of extra money, going a little bit faster. And well, even though they've had a fair bit of experience in the Group B category, this Group A category with just that little difference in speed does take a little bit of time to get used to. First split's pretty tidy with a 28.2. I had some information from these guys, not too sure that they're going to be running the full season this year. Let's hope that they do. The second split of the 44s, not bad, sort of about 2 seconds down on really where they'd like to be. It is qualifying round number 2 only though. So just opening that little bit up, just a little bit of an unnecessary wheel input there. That'll put a bit of time on it. So Greg Reardon across the line with a 60.413. 60.413 for Greg Reardon. Next boat to face the starter will be Tony Reid. And I can tell you, ladies and gentlemen, when you get the opportunity during the lunch break to get into the pit and paddock area, if Uncle Tony decides to take his race overalls off and shows you his legs, put your sunglasses on, because those legs are brighter than looking directly into the sun. So Andrew Bakey is the navigator here. These guys, the boat 303 from Waitra, they're still at it. That's the name of the boat, still at it. Oh, Uncle Tony in very tight there. Whoa, Uncle Tony in upside down, and that is not a good end to that run. Luckily, the boat landing on its feet, the leg is out over the bow as well. That can't be comfortable, but he's got it back inside. So that is a very nasty accident, that, ladies and gentlemen. So Uncle Tony, just have a look at the replay screen. Too tight coming back towards commentary. Nowhere to go. Turned it in just way, way too tight. And the force of the water there actually pulling Andrew Bakey's helmet off. He will be okay. but that was certainly very exciting. We have a look at the replay. Very lucky, the bow in very, very deep there. And wow, the boat just landing on its feet there, and it looked as though that was Navigator Andrew Bakey's left foot coming out of there. He was already on the way out of that boat, so plenty of water in that boat. That is going to take some time to sort that out. The rescue crew just telling driver and navigator, sit still. We are not in a rush to get you out of the boat. We will just be taking it very easy. Of course, that is normal course of action when we have an accident like that. That boat standing right up on the nose, and certainly very, very exciting indeed. So we might have a bit of a row your boat soundtrack here, I think. Well, I'd have to say that life may not be the dream outcome that they were looking for there. We will take a short break. As soon as we get information about driver and navigator, they do seem to be okay. Our rescue crew, highly trained in this type of thing. The St John's ambulance down there as well. Just saying to these boys, hey, listen, while you are in the boat and whatever, we don't want you guys to get out of the boat. So it is just a matter of precaution. We'll be back very soon.
Okay.
Hey, ladies and gentlemen, give Tony and Andrew a big round of applause. The boys are okay. They're waving to the crowd going, did you see that? I tell you what, we did. And it was exciting. Hey, big shout out to the person in St. Lucia in the Caribbean, man, who is watching on live stream. So great to see our wonderful sport that was invented here, right here in New Zealand, and being seen right around the world on the live stream. But we'll take a little bit of time to get this boat out, obviously full of water. You can't just take, well, there's obvious problems with that. Leighton Shrek Manel is going to go down and have a chat to Uncle Tony. And I'll tell you what, the way that Uncle Tony looks sometimes, we think he's old enough to look like a great, great Uncle Tony. So Leighton just, Shrek just wandering down there now.
Just making sure you can hear me down here.
Yeah, go ahead, mate. Just bump into the St John's Ambos, of course, down there, just making sure that Tony and Bakey AAK, and then Leighton will just jump in there once they've been through a few things. They'll probably get a rubber hammer out and tap their knee, won't they, Leighton?
Can we zoom in on that on the dent in the old front of the boat there? Because the great Uncle Tony put a lot of work into this today. It's a brand new machine.
Hey, Leighton, you might need to just turn yourself around like the hokey pokey, so you're pointing the base of the microphone towards the tower.
Righto, we've been lucky enough to get great Uncle Tony all straight after this event. Obviously, you're looking at it wet, mate. Can you talk us through it?
Driver error, I'm afraid. Can't even blame the navigator this time. I took a second grab at the corner and I shouldn't have taken that grab, but new boat, new driver on the day, and just one of those racing things that happen. The only thing I really do say is safety was great. We come out okay. Probably got a couple of aches and bones here and there, but I'm sure a bottle of cold medicine later on will sort that out.
We know you know all about the cold medicine. Hey, we saw a bit of leg as you come over there. Can you talk? Because one of the boys looked like one leg came out of the boat there.
I think that might have been Bakey, because we went in as we went under, it stripped our helmets clean off us, and I think as the wash come under, it literally tried to scoop us out of the seats. Yeah, so I think his legs might have come a bit higher. Mine was still on the loud pedal, but it wasn't doing much.
Well, good to see everyone's okay, and we're pretty sure you'll get that boat up and running for the next round, Tony.
Oh, a couple of gallons of oil here and there, and we'll get it sorted.
Great stuff. We'll give him a round of applause, people. Great stuff. Great Uncle Tony, all the way from Waitra.
Cheers, mate.
All the best.
Well done, Shrek, and that's what we're going to be trying to do during the day, ladies and gentlemen. Get down there and get the microphone in front of our drivers and navigators, and because we're just testing the reach of all of our electronic equipment, we will just be working on that throughout the day to improve the broadcast here at round one of the Mouthfresh New Zealand Jetsprint Championships for 2019. We'll be back in a minute. We are back racing. Dean and Aaron Riddick, the boys from New Plymouth Hot Property. So these boys, oh gee, I'll tell you what, after they hear about Uncle Tony spitting the boat out of the hairpin, that might have just helped them just ease that off in there. So Dean and Aaron Riddick. Rotation looking pretty good at the moment. The pace looking reasonable. They're coming in towards the second split, and it is a 43. So they're a little bit down on where they'd like to be. Come later in the day, but it is qualifying round number 2 for the Group A category. So, Dean, oh, geez, he was tight, very tight in there, and that's a 59.312, 59.312 for Dean and Aaron Riddick. Hey, ladies and gentlemen, when Uncle Toadie and Blakey just turned that boat upside down, somebody said, oh, geez, that was a bit ugly that the water pushed their helmets off. I think the ugliest thing was actually revealing their faces, to be honest with you. Well, they can't hear me, so that's okay. No, good guys, and great to hear that they are okay. So now as we continue on with racing, it will be Phil Dick and behind the wheel, and Hayden Digby-Smith as the navigator. So Hayden Digby-Smithy, Diggers, amateur systems engine and e-sport athlete. What's an e-sport athlete?
Wouldn't have a clue.
Do you know what that is?
Absolutely not.
Right, we are going to find out what an e-sport athlete is. We're going to have Steph Google it. So the Jet Design Co. Oh, geez, I tell you what, Phil Dick out very, very wide out of that start chute. And certainly in qualifying round number 2, the start of the rotation looking a lot more confident. Eases it around the hairpin. Some water coming out of the jet unit in a couple of weird places there. So I dare say they might need to try to cast an eye down into it. Yeah, they're certainly losing a lot of pressure out of that jet unit. Water coming out in some very, very strange places. So it is Phil Dick across the line there with a 61.046, 1 minute, 1 second, .046. So, yeah, I'll tell you what, we have got some interesting stuff, particularly with Leighton Manel just wandering around that pit area with a cameraman. I'm just not too sure where he is at the moment. He's not a hard man to spot, but he's just out. Oh, he's not even near the pit area, of course. He's near the Baxter's food truck there. How surprising is that? Video games. So I got 2 young blokes up here in the tower at the moment, both Blakes. Now, is playing video games a sport?
No.
I didn't think so. What about you, Blake?
No, I hate video games.
Right, okay, we've got 2 outdoors boys here.
It can improve the strength of your thumbs.
Right, fantastic. Clayton and Mandy Tisdall out on track at the moment. And these guys from Tapanui on the South Island, Mandy Tisdall, a really interesting navigator, always very, very animated. There is no doubt about that. Have a look at that. You can see the school teacher in her as she's just waving her husband around the track. And Clayton Tisdall just sitting into the boat very nicely, not oversteering it, just keeping that boat on track. Very, very smooth style of driving in the jet speed hull. These guys were New Zealand champions in the Group B a couple of years ago. Had a sort of interesting start to their Group A career last season, but in their second season in the Group A, looking pretty good at the moment. So Clayton, Mandy Tisdall, and straight to the top with a 55.360. Also like to say good day to Jeanette in Canada. So we are getting seen right around the world. Hey, we'll keep an eye out and see if we get our regular viewers from Uzbekistan as well. Neil, big deal. Marshall now coming out on course. Jay Hayden from TA, the nurse doing the navigation duties. Eagle Automotive, the Stinger hull, and of course Neil just really bogging it down around that right-hander initially. So Neil Marshall really got that horribly wrong into the hairpin. And I dare say he's had a change of blades, change of impellers, and just not quite digging him out of that hole. The split, although, is really good with a 40.884. So with a split like that, he's certainly on the time of the split that Clayton Tisdall posted, and still the boat not quite angling, and a few mistakes out there. Oh no, the reverse bucket has come down. That's a sudden stop, got through the line, 56.013. That's what happened there. That reverse bucket has grabbed it, and he was quick enough to get off the power straight away and just buried it. Literally stuck the nose right in. We'll have a look at the replay. Wow, qualifying round number 2, and we've got some interesting stuff going on already. So Shrek will get down. Yeah, that was certainly interesting. So Neil Marshall will have some good stuff to say down there, Leighton, as he wanders on down there. He turned that into a submarine. Hey, we've got some information that came from Tony and Bakey's crash earlier. The force of the water going up the back of their neck and into their helmets actually ripped the strap out of the helmet itself. And the other helmet that came off, the water pressure was that much, even with the strap tightly done up, it was ripped off their head. So they will certainly be having a look for a couple of new helmets, I dare say, and that takes a lot of pressure to be able to rip a helmet off in an accident. So interesting stuff there. Will just affect the rescue of Neil Marshall. All right, it is Sean and Faye Rice for Elite Kitchens out on track now. The pairing from a new Plymouth Cosa Nostra SprintTech G-Force hull, brand new package developed for the World Series. Oh, got a little bit untidy out of that hairpin, but we know that is going to cause problems throughout the day. So just remember, we are only qualifying round number 2. It's been an exciting day so far. We've seen Buttercup spat out. Chris Rasmussen was spat out. Neil Marshall just had the reverse bucket thrown down on him. Uncle Tony spat out. And now it is Sean and Faye Rice out on track with Elite Kitchens and Monster Energy. So Sean Rice, formerly out of sprint car racing, across the line there with a 56.277. So at the moment, it's Clayton Tisdall, Neil Marshall, and Sean Rice.
Can you hear me, mate?
Go, Leighton.
let us know if you can. But I've got Neil Marshall with us right now, and we've just watched that boat get dragged out of the water. Do you want to put the camera on us here, mate? Neil, it looks like you got a broken reverse bucket, and that's what we suspected.
No, as soon as it's happened, I realised what it was. It's not the first time I've had issues. At least it's a little bit shallower here than when it happened last time in the middle of a lake and I went to the bottom.
Mate, I tell you, I felt for you when that happened, and I also saw it happen in Bay Park. The first thing we set up there, that looked like reverse bucket, but you got out of it fast, which is brilliant.
Yeah, no, well, like I just said, I learnt when I drowned it at the lake. First time I did it, I didn't know what it was, and I just sort of kept my foot on the throttle, but this time I knew straight away, so I knew just to get right off the throttle instantly and just let the boat settle, and luckily, yeah, no, we're all good.
So spare parts, you'll be back?
Yeah, luckily I actually thought it was actually going to be the reverse bucket itself, not the ram, so I've actually got another spare brand new ram in the box, so we're all good.
Well, mate, congratulations on your find, and let's see you back. That split time is looking a cracker too, by the way.
Yeah, no, keep it back.
Work down there, Lake Manila, Cy Gibbon and Donna Thompson out on track. And I tell you, Cy, in his opening lap, was very aggressive. Gave the tyres a big hip and shoulder in the first run. Will he tidy it up this time? Yeah, that is much better. Got way out of it early. Set the boat up nicely going into there. Novus Auto Glass, show us your track. The Scott Constructions, Woodback Park Cottages, and King Watercraft, Justin Neal Engineering. So the split, oh, it's a cracker at a 38.179. So Simon Gibbon. This is a great run. Oh, quick time Group A, 52.489. Simon Gibbon straight to the top at around about 2 point something seconds quicker. Simon Gibbon in that run was half a second quicker than the unlimited run of the Altherm Windows boat driven by Glenn Head. Cy Gibbon absolutely on fire. All right, so we now have radioactive out on the water. This is Ross Travers and Amanda Kiddo. Ross Travers, second in the world in the Group A category. Amanda Kiddo, the Navigator, third in the world in the Unlimited category. So plenty of experience here in this boat. Well, a little bit of smoke coming out of the rear of the radioactive machine. We'll keep an eye on that hairpin. Hopefully just a little, oh, that's starting to look quite heavy going up the sweeper into the nut. And there you go, right off the power. So there was a lot of smoke there. Hopefully that is not terminal. We heard that boat at the start of the meeting sounding rough indeed. So Ross Travers just having a look at the oil pressure gauge, just maintaining the rotation to get a qualifying time in. So certainly keeping an eye on those gauges. Lots of smoke there. Leighton will be down there having a chat to Ross. There's no doubt about that. Ross Travers now across the line with a 109.215, so 69.215. The new navigator in the bitches box, Karen Wakeland. Big shout out to Alan. So, yep, that's something that's come through on the live stream. So, big shout out, Alan, there, mate. Hope you're absolutely loving watching Mrs. in the boat there and not packing your pants too hard. All right, good big g'day to Sparnet Racing out there, Kevin Lorgerson and Logie. Hopefully getting back on track now as we go racing back into the group, still with the Group A category, and it is Ollie Silverman, world number one. The time in this run that he wants to beat is the time of Simon Gibbon, who ran a 52.489. So PSP Building Brands, Suntough, Clearview, the marketing manager of PSP, Jess sitting in the navigator seat. I had a chat to this pair first thing this morning and said, well, after the World Series win, what did you guys get up to? Did you celebrate for a week or 2 weeks? And they both said no. We're on the plane the next day and back at work the day after. So, wow, this is going to be a great split. And it's scored about the same time that Cy Gibbon did. So the Sprint Tech and the Stinger at the top of Group A at the moment. Ollie Silverman out on track. The run to the line. Ollie Silverman into P1 with a 52.263, and he's only 0.226 quicker than Simon Gibbon. So that's a really good run there for Ollie Silverton, and intrinsic of a world champion.
KV, I don't know if you can hear me or not.
Away you go, mate.
I'm just going to try and catch up with Ollie Silverton shortly, so stand by, just while in between races. We'll catch up with the latest world champion, see what he's got to say about the track today.
Yeah, fantastic, mate. I think that's a great position to be in. We're a lot less static and a lot less interference from down there, mate.
Excellent. We'll see how it goes. We'll be with Ollie very shortly. Stand by.
All right, so now we switch up to qualifying round number 2 for the Mouthfresh Super Boats. Of course, Mouthfresh for the best tasting toothpaste in the world, bringing the entire 2019 Jetsprints series in New Zealand to you. And, well, and don't forget those biodegradable toothpaste down there. Great to see some fantastic companies with innovation and moving towards a safer and better world, less plastics and all that sort of stuff. We don't want to see dolphins swallowing plastic and our fish swallowing plastic.
Okay, KV, we're managing to get